Hi, everyone, and welcome back to day 24 of our Inktober 2024 Beginners Tangle Challenge. I'm Yehudit Steinberg, and a certified Zentangle teacher, and in this video series, we explore one beginner tangle a day for 31 days. Today's tangle is Trelina by Eni Oken. This fun star-shaped tangle deconstructed by Eni forms a three-dimensional effect with its C-shaped lines. It's easy to learn, and you can even vary the number of points for fun, unique results. Let's begin by gathering our supplies. Today, I'll be using a Micron 01, and I've recently introduced the Micron 02 for you heavy-handed tanglers like myself. I love the 02 because it's a little bit stronger than the very delicate point nib of the Micron 01 pen. I have with me a Micron PN, which is a plastic nib, and it can draw a little thicker lines. So we will use that when I want to do something a little bit thicker in my lines. I have a graphite number 2B Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencil. And I love this series of pencils. And my blending tool is a tortillon. It's a small size, and you can check out the link below in the YouTube channel in the description for my favorite supplies. I will be using a Bijou 2-inch Renaissance tile, a tan tile, and I've been doing this for the entire collection. And later on, I'll show you all that we've done for the past 24 days. We're almost there. I hope that you've been enjoying this series. And in the comments below, let me know how you like Trelina. If you want to have an economical choice, I suggest the Strathmore Artist Tiles. They're a Bristol vellum, and so they have a pretty smooth surface, and it's this is the 6x6 tile. And as you can see, with these 2-inch tiles, you can actually cut out approximately 9 tiles. So you would need 4 or 5 of these sheets, and there's 20 tiles in a package. So let's get started. As I do in each one of the tangle demonstrations during the Inktober Beginner Tangles, I show you the step outs. And at this time, I suggest that you take a screenshot so that when you're ready to redo this particular tangle, you have the directions. While you're doing that, I'll tell you a little bit more about Trelina. Its star-like design is made of simple C-shaped strokes that form a star pattern. You can vary the number of points on the star to create different looks, making it a versatile tangle for all kinds of compositions. It's a beautiful blossom tangle as well. It's great for creating movement in your tile. So make sure that you've taken this screenshot, and we will move on to our first step in the Zentangle. We will move on in our first step of the Zentangle method process. So in the Zentangle method process, it is a mindful drawing process. And so to begin with, we start with getting centered and taking a couple of deep breaths. So we do our deep breaths by inhaling through the nose, holding it for a few seconds, and then exhaling through the mouth. So let's inhale, hold it, and then exhale. Again, inhale, hold it, and exhale. I suggest 5 to 10 of these deep breaths to help us get centered. Now think of something that you're grateful for today. Keep breathing. Let the feeling ground you as we prepare to draw. Let's stretch our hands and our fingers, loosen them up, do a little finger yoga, and warm them up. And now we're ready to begin. We start in the Zentangle method by putting 4 dots in the corner, and you may wonder why we're going to create this border and 4 dots in the corner. That gets us started. And so we are beginning. Beginning is sometimes the hardest part of beginning a creative process and drawing. So Zentangle method has quite creatively created an easy way for us to get started. So now we have a border and we're going to put our tangle in the middle. And the first step would be to continue with the graphite. I like to start and sketch it in. So I start with an orb, a circular orb in the center of my border. And if it's a little off center, it doesn't really matter at all. And we are going to create four points. So our first point, it's going to be a little bit of a hook, and it's going to come down and land. Then we're going to turn our tile 90 degrees, and we'll create another one. We'll turn our tile for our third, and this is a takeoff and land technique. We've done some of these in previous tangles in this challenge. Okay, we now have 4, and they're going in 4 corner directions. So I'm going to pick up my PN, and I will go over, I'll pick up the PN, and I will go over my lines. With that little hook and the takeoff and land. Take off and land. Now, the next step is we're going to build out these stars shapes. So I'm going to start at the top, and I will come and land on this line. And then bring another line. And one more. Turn my tile and repeat. And basically, that's how easy it is. Now, it may take a couple times to practice, but practice is really part of all this. But it's just these basic C shapes Take your time and breathe. Depending on the size of your line, you may have 3 lines or you may have 4. That's going to depend on your individual drawing. All right, now we're going to add a few more of these C lines. And I will start and I'm going to get smaller and smaller. Turn my tile. You can even move these in different directions. And we have one more. I think I'll take this one straight, getting smaller and smaller. And we have Trelina. And we have Trelina. Now it's time for a little bit of embellishment. I'm going to go back to the center here and I'm going to ink it in, but I am leaving that center. I'm going to leave that center uninked, at least for now. In this demonstration, I am showing you the very basics for Trelina, and there are a number of variations you can do if you do this on a larger, a 3.5-inch tile, and you have larger spaces here. You can put different patterns within Trelina. But for today, I'm doing this for beginners, the very basics. So where are we going to shade? I'm going to shade where something is overlapping. So this particular line here is on top. So I'm going to come in and give a little bit of graphite. I'm also going to give a little bit of graphite in that loop there. I'm going to turn my tile and do that on all of them, all 4. All right. And then I'm also on the inside giving a little graphite to the outer edge so that when we use our blending tool, it will start taking a bit of a 3-dimensional shape. So I will do that on all the sides. And now I pick up my blending tool, the tortillon, and the way I blend is very lightly. I'm going to do a circular motion. I'm going to get right up against that edge there and move it out. And I want to make sure that I move a little bit of a gradual movement here so that you really don't see the line. And if I want to, I always start lightly when I blend, but if I want to accentuate here, I can come back and go another coat and a little bit darker and just move it out a little bit more so that you can see that this pops forward. And turn. I do this all the way around. Shading it takes some practice. Oh, and by the way, I do have a shading basics for Zentangle class coming up next month. So the information will be in the to register, and the details will be in the description below. And it's a great basic shading class because a lot of times we don't really understand how we can shade. Zentangle has a method that's a little bit different and easier to learn than some of the light shading that you learn in art classes, because Zentangle is all about being accessible to everyone, even if you're not artists. So there we have Trelina. What I also want to emphasize is that down the center, we want to have that light source, and sometimes it gets muddled when we shade. So I go in with my favorite little eraser, and this is a Tombow Mono Zero elastic eraser. I get the square. It's actually a rectangular one. They have a round one, but I like this one better, and it saves on the replacement erasers. So the next step is to sign. So I put my initials on the front, and then I flip it over to journal, and I'm going to change to my PN for my journal. It's a little bit darker. And this is day 24. And the tangle was Trelina. And it was deconstructed by Eni Oken. I sign my name. And I date it. I also will note that this was part of the Inktober 2024 challenge. And we turn it over. And there you have Trelina, the final step. Now that we've drawn Trelina, I encourage you to share the completed tangle in our Facebook group. The link to the Facebook group is also in the description below. Make sure you answer the 3 questions to get in the group. Look for today's tangle post and add a picture of your drawing along with any comments or questions that you have. I'd love to see how your Trelina turned out. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder, it's not too late to join our Sunday Mandala Challenge. You'll receive all the information, the guidebook, the recorded Sunday Zoom sessions, and support to create your unique mandala. The registration link is in the comments below or description if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this time was relaxing and inspiring for you. I'll see you tomorrow for another mindful drawing session. Until then, remember, one stroke at a time. Bye for now.